Record. There we go. Right. So yes, yesterday I think was a good day for everyone in regards to sort of learning wise because we obviously took a bit of a loss in the morning. We took a loss on gold, and we took a loss on GBP USD. Now, days like this will always happen. Yeah, and the main thing, I think I was actually speaking about this on Sunday, but the main thing is to make sure that you don't go crazy. Your psychology doesn't take over. I know it's hard when you're in a loss not to add in, but obviously, that's the kind of danger, zone. Unless you're doing a challenge or, you want to just make sure you've got, in enough to fight another day, as they, say. You've always in training got to be thinking about tomorrow. So, always look at if you're, for example, trading 1K and you've got to identify when your head has come off and when it's, just chasing. And, if you want to increase risk and, potentially put a little bit more of your, capital at risk because you want to chase, make sure that you are very, very, strict and still have 75% of your capital left to trade with. All right, because a bit like what yesterday proved, we made it all back in the afternoon. So and a bit more to obviously end up profitable. So that's how you've got to really kind of look at it, and also having the overall macro outlook yesterday was good because it just meant that we obviously we um, we weren't ever in huge danger, so that was obviously, yeah, a good thing that happens. But yeah, make sure everyone before we go through the trades because there. I've left a little bit of a gap today because Asia had a big continuation. I actually closed mine out in a little bit of profit yesterday, but I wish I'd have just held it because they have flown, and I'll go through that in a minute. But obviously, on your dollar chart, all right, you need to have 99 marked up, 99 500, and 100. You can see yesterday how important 99 500 is. We got the 200 EMA, we got the 50 EMA here. We've obviously had the cross. So it's battling against, a lot of downward pressure here. I'm not saying it's going to end the week like this. We obviously need some data to come out. For those of you who don't know, it's not technicals that are moving the markets because, everyone with trading a lot more than us isn't even looking at candles. They're just looking at volume and price, and that's it. So the retail industry is the only industry that views charts like this. So just be aware of that. All right, it's not technicals, it's the fundamentals, it's the outlook. So yeah, you obviously need to have this up. There's a strong chance that we could break this today. We've obviously got some employment change here, so we're going to be looking probably like normal between half one and two, so about quarter to two. I'll put obviously what I am personally, looking at into the channel. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm going to be looking at. We've got obviously more production and manufacturing data. So we've already had a little bit of an inclination into manufacturing. Is it going to be as high? You know, Chances are it's probably not because we've obviously been in these tariff discussions, although they're probably pretty much sorted out now. Also, one thing you've got to look on the back of it. I mean, again, I might be completely wrong, but what you've got to do is look on the back of it and think, well, if there's less jobs, then there's going to be less manufacturing. If there's more jobs, there's going to be more manufacturing, So it's just obviously everything leads on to another. So, that's obviously one thing which I would be looking into. So I do think we're going to see a bit of movement on the US dollar at the moment. We've got to sell it. All right, there is no other way to, kind of do it. We've got to sell it. But obviously, if we get some good data coming in, we got some data today. We've got more jobs data tomorrow. Jobless claims, set to increase. All right, so data's not brilliant. So and then obviously Friday I think was pretty quiet apart from CAD from memory. Yeah, we obviously got some core PCE, and I think it was CAD. Yeah, everyone's unemployment has ticked up. I don't know if you've noticed Euro yesterday. What happened? Unemployment rate, you know, t ticked up, or it didn't tick up actually. It was as it was previously, and obviously that's why Euro continued. It was expected to reduce, but I'm expecting CAD to be pretty, similar, but they are being quite conservative here on Friday. If you look there, they're forecasting it going up 0.1%, which everyone's gone up about 0.1%. So, let's wait and see what happens. If CAD comes out at 6.9, then obviously that's going to put some momentum into the Canadian dollar. So USD CAD might be one that I'm looking at on from Friday, like I explained. Let's just have a quick look at the chat. Morning, everyone. Linus, morning, everyone. I'm hold Euro USD to Asia and close nice profit. Yeah. So let's have a look at my, list of trades. I obviously got Euro. Wanted to play a little bit, safer today. I think this is a bit of, no man's land here. I do think we should be drawn back into this, here. Obviously, lots of people are going to be looking at this and being like, yeah, price is going to really, really struggle to break. So potentially these short-term kind of sellers are going to drive price down into this area. Not 100% sure it's going to hit today or this morning. This might be something that's going to hit a bit later on. I think lots of the setups that I posted are going to be, valid later on to today. So I don't think our afternoon, setups are going to change much. But we'll wait and see. Then I had pound, very, very, similar here. Really struggling pound. It keeps driving up so quickly and then just tailing off. And I think we're going to be drawn, as you can see here, I've marked up this, zone. Price has really, really struggled to break through this. Anywhere else, you're in kind of no man's land again. You want to always be looking to hop on a trade in the best case scenario, and obviously, entering up here, it's not because you're right in the middle of a trade. So as much as you want to be in a trade like first thing in the morning, you got to think, no, is this the best example? So yeah, where would we ideally want to enter? And that's where you probably should enter. Then we had gold number three. I actually like this one. I think it's going to tap. Was just wanted to target these previous highs here. Um, if obviously yields are down, the dollar's down, stock markets, a little bit bed up. Gold at the moment's about break even. So yeah, like the idea of this just flash tapping us and then obviously continuing up. So I've personally got 4,200, I think, or is it 4,195? 4,195 is my buy limit on this. Hoping to have a nice, obviously continuation to the upside. Let's have a look where Asia low is as well. So yeah, we're obviously testing Asia low here. Whether we will breach it is another scenario, but yeah, that is obviously what I'm looking at. Just to come into this area, tap into this liquidity here, and then continue. Then we had AED USD again, very very similar. We've I don't think it is worth buying anywhere before here. So very, very similar. We're going to have the short term sellers drive price back into here, and then obviously the long term buyers are going to then buy up at a lower price. Got to what you've got to do is, imagine obviously how, I mean, this is, something that I haven't used before, but imagine how everyone trades Bitcoin, yeah? All right. Every time Bitcoin dumps, right? What ends up happening here? All right. We have here, we obviously have a new wave of these long-term buyers here for thinking, you know what? Price is good here. I'm going to buy. Yeah. What ends up happening here? Price dumps, new wave of buyers come in. Boom. So it's the short termers, when you've got an overall trend, it's the short termers that are trying to drive it down, and then it's the long termers who are then thinking, you know what, it's much better price here. I'm going to buy. So if the overall outlook for, I mean, Bitcoin's flown. If you don't look at it yesterday, it recovered Monday easily engulfed it. It's now broken through, 93. I actually think that there's a potential before Christmas for us to come back into this 100 area. I'm going to call it 100, and then I probably will be coming out of it. If you look through history, for anyone who likes obviously researching a bit of Bitcoin, this is called, I mean, they come out with some stupid names in crypto. This is called the death cross, the death cross, and it's where the 50 EMA crosses is 200, right? But every time that happens, let me just get an example here. So every time that happens, yeah, price drives up. Not all the way before it continues. All right, you can see here, death cross, drive up, death cross, drive up. So that's what you got to be looking out for. So it is quite an interesting time. But yeah, crypto is completely different to forex. It's all hype. And it just relies on everyone. Last but not least was USD JPY. So USD JPY, again, yen is relatively weak. It's strengthened up a little bit today, but obviously, yeah, I'd like to, see it come into this area one more time. It is still making, the lower low, lower high, so I would like it to drive here one more time before potentially just, equaling obviously this low here. So those are the five kind of setups in order. What do I think's got potential to tap? Unfortunately, the number five USD JPY, I think that's got potential. I got gold. I probably would be happy with just entering this if I'm honest. That's got potential. We then obviously got GBP USD. I don't think these are going to hit this morning. So let's wait and see. But I think, yeah, gold and USD JPY are going to be the top two. Um, yeah, so over overall, my outlook for the US dollar is still obviously trending to the downside, like I explained. So yeah, let's wait and see how we get on. Does anyone have any questions or wants to go through anything before I go? Nathan? Gold has a massive support at 14169 and resistance of 4260. Not trading gold anymore. It's stung me too much. Yeah, I was actually having this chat on the call I did last night, and obviously everyone panics about gold, all right? And it's because you are obviously over, leveraged. Like I never get any messages, for example, of like your USD, and GBP USD were both in a bit of drawdown yesterday before they recovered. No one's actively like, oh my God, I'm gonna blow my account because you obviously subconsciously you trade forex with a correct lots, but obviously everyone's trading gold with different lots. All gold does is just move quicker. All right, so the only way to adjust it is to you know trade it probably 10 to 20% of what you would normally. So if you're trading say zero point 0.1 on euro, all right, you would want to be trading say 0.02 or 0.05. You want to be trading a lot less than your trading currency pairs, and then that's going to chill you because the pit value is so much more. If we look at this today, we've got on gold we've got like a 350 pip stop loss, all right. And then we've got on, say for example, GBP we've got 60. All right, so you're gonna want to trade gold. That's what 5 times less than what you're trading GBP. All right, and I know that completely takes away everyone's enjoyment of gold, because it means yes, if it moves up, you're not going to be making as much money. But obviously, that's why everyone gets so stressed out about gold because they just trade it too high. So yeah, just something to have a think about. 100% agree with what you had said. Forex allows for a better psychology, in my opinion. It's a lot less watch the chart. Yeah, to be honest, I probably wouldn't trade gold at all, but everyone loves it. So I've got to throw in some gold trades here, but yes, my kind of end. I'm obviously being a bit bit of a hypocrite here, but obviously, you know, yeah, when obviously my time comes, when I bow bow out of this, space, I'm going to, gold will not be, something that I'm trading. It'll be GBP USD and probably Euro USD. That's it. Maybe, adding in the AED USD and USD JPY. But yeah, so just something to think about. Does anyone have any more questions? Any more for any more? Otherwise, we'll obviously end it here. No? All right. Well, we're on a really good run at the moment. We've obviously had 2.5 weeks in profit, so 12 trading days where we obviously haven't had a losing day. So, yeah, I'd love to take it all the way through to Christmas because that'll be a huge achievement. And obviously, all I've done is just slowed everything down, slightly. So, hopefully, obviously, you guys can, see that how it's all, slowed a bit, and it's, yeah. Ken, I'll re-look at the video to find out why 1.16 on Euro USD. So, you can see here. All right, you can see here on a 2 hour chart, I've made sure I dragged it all the way across. I could have carried on. All right, Euro USD is in a clear uptrend. Yeah, everyone can see that. Yeah. All right. So what should happen? It should come back down. Well, where's it really, really, struggled to break through? All right, you can see it even trying to break through this. It drove. Look how quickly this candle drove into this area, and then it consolidated, and then it drove back. Where does it come back into? All right, slows down here. Tries to break it, tries to break it, tries to break it. and then moves up. So why would it not come back into this area and obviously have that same trouble? So what we want to see here is exactly what's happened here. Yeah. Big, and you can obviously look at the overall charts here. Everyone is going to be trying to sell from here because the old school shorts are right. There's a triple top. It's massive resistance here. Blah blah blah. So what's going to end up happening? You're going to have a percentage of, sellers are going to drive it down. And to be honest, no one's going to be trying to buy from here anyway. But where are they going to try and buy? And I might be completely wrong, but you're going to try and buy from here. So, how you got to think about Forex is it's one big, gonna do some good drawing now. It's one big, set of scales, yeah? Right? You got your, buyers and then, your sellers, yeah? And all that happens, all right, is yes, sellers are going to take over a little bit, all right, they're gonna let that happen, all right. But when price comes down here, right, you will see what happens in regards to, buyers will take over, and then that's when the scale tips, and price obviously will start to move, and you got to look at the speed of how directions are happening, and then you'll obviously have a good kind of grasp on who's actually taking over. So yeah, but no, but hope that helps. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Well, obviously, I'll be here, obviously, all day monitoring. And then, yeah, I'll be obviously back to post some trades between 145 and 2. So enjoy it. Hopefully, gold taps and USD taps. And then, obviously, everything's, setting up for us a bit later on. So have a good one, guys.